Alright. So I've explained it's like, how I'm a Dragon Ball fan, I'm familiar with Dragon Ball and all that stuff. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why don't you want Goku in Smash, He's like super cool and iconic. It's like, not everything is meant to fit together, okay? Case in point, look at these Oreos here. Now, if you don't know, Oreo's been doing all types of crazy freaking flavors, it's like for the past couple of years. Right now we got the hot cocoa here. They've done basically Rice Krispies, cookies and cream Oreo, which seems kind of redundant. Lemon Oreos. They had cinnamon bun Oreos, all types of Oreos. But you know what they didn't do? So far, as of late, there are no barbecue rib Oreos, there are no Salisbury steak Oreos, and there's no cocktail shrimp Oreos. You know why? Because some flavors are not meant to mix together. That's why. Potato chips, it's like come in some of those flavors because it's like meat and potatoes is a thing. They go together. But in the case, it's like of Goku and it's like Nintendo characters, not so much. When the hell have you ever seen Nintendo cry? When has Mario ever appeared? It's like in a Dragon Ball game. When? Never. That's why. So it's like, people are like, oh, but he can go. It's like, oh, all these other characters, they've appeared in the games, they have nothing to do with Nintendo. Yeah, those characters are all video game characters, as I stated before. Sonic has a huge history and rivalry with Mario. He was simply the most requested character as soon as Snake appeared. Everybody wanted him. How did Snake appear? It's like, for years, it's like Hideo Kojima, it's like, begged Sakurai, hey, put my character in Smash. My character would be cool in Smash. They're good friends. He could do it for Melee, but, as soon as Brawl came out, why not? They actually delayed the game so they could put, Sonic in. Because as soon as he was real, oh, well, you should put another character. How about another character? It's like, who would people want more than anyone else? Sonic. And that's how that happened. So there has to be a reason to why a character is in. You look at some of the newer characters. Mega Man, huge history. Pac-Man, huge history. Hell, Pac-Man already crossed over with Mario in the one game, Pac-Man Versus. Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, is the narrator of that game. They've worked together on a few other games too, like Star Fox Assault on the GameCube. Again, stuff happens. They crossed over. Link was in Soul Calibur 2. It's like, it kind of makes sense, for these companies, it's like Slash characters to be together. Now, some of you are saying, well, what about, Bayonetta? Nintendo basically owns Bayonetta. Now, it's like, they essentially paid for Bayonetta 2, to be a Wii U exclusive, and now a Switch game. So, again, I don't see where you're going with this about why that character doesn't belong or this character doesn't belong. Hell, even Ryu. It's like, he's Capcom owned, so, they might as well get him as well. It was very big, in the arcades. He basically, Street Fighter 2 modernized the whole fighting genre as we know it. So it's like, it only makes sense that they would have had him, and it's like Street Fighter itself. There was a huge reason, because of the 6-button layout, to have that on the Super Nintendo versus the Genesis. History, important. And now some of you are saying, well, what about Cloud? He was never in Nintendo games or anything. Okay, first of all, that's bullshit. He was in a Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy game on the 3DS. It came out in Japan in 2012 and America in 2013. Yeah, sure, his one main game wasn't in, but again, you don't have to appear, in your, a game, it's like for the first time in Nintendo System account. I mean, look at Snake. Snake's first game was on the PC engine. Then, you have Sonic. He appeared on the Genesis. Still counts. Also, Nintendo and Square, they go way back. They were like big buddies, throughout most of the NES and Super NES. All the Final Fantasy games coming out. Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come out on the Nintendo 64, but they jumped ship because of the memory. But not because they didn't get along with Nintendo. Just because, hey, you don't have enough memory, we can't make the game we want. So, but again, they've been pretty chummy lately, 3DS is full right now. The DS, they've released a lot of Square Enix RPGs, including Chrono Trigger, which as you may have noticed, it's like it has, the Toriyama art style. So yeah, that explains why that character is in Smash. So to say, well, these characters are in, so Goku again is bullshit. Because, again, they're video game characters with history with Nintendo. What history with Nintendo does Goku have? Well, they have games on Nintendo. Yeah, and your point. So does Mickey Mouse. So does Batman. Having games doesn't mean anything. Again, because you're not a video game character. And none of those games really defined, any Nintendo generation at all. So there's that.